Even though Iran is known not to honor commitments and agreements, if the United States and neighboring countries see a genuine chance for lasting peace in the Gulf, a new international framework must be established. This vision for stability is built upon a total transformation of Iran's military, ideological, and economic structures through a binding United Nations resolution. Nuclear and strategic disarmament, achieving zero enrichment and uranium removal. The cornerstone of this proposal is the complete and permanent dismantling of Iran's strategic weapons programs to ensure regional safety. Under this mandate, Iran would be required to maintain zero uranium enrichment and decommission all centrifuges, effectively removing any technological path to a nuclear weapon. A critical immediate step involves handing out the 460 kilograms of enriched uranium to a third-party country for safe disposal or storage, ensuring no fissile material remains on Iranian soil. Furthermore, the program extends to the total destruction of all ballistic missiles and long-range drones, which have historically been the primary tools of regional tension. By removing these delivery systems and stockpiles, the perceived threat to the Arabian Peninsula and international shipping lanes is entirely neutralized. Maritime security and demilitarization. Establishing a buffer zone near the Strait of Hormuz. To safeguard global energy markets and prevent naval skirmishes, this point establishes a 100-kilometer demilitarized zone around the Strait of Hormuz. No Iranian military assets, including naval vessels, coastal missile batteries, aerial assets, or land-based military installations, would be permitted within this critical maritime choke point. This creates a transparent security corridor under international law, ensuring that international shipping remains unhindered by brinkmanship or the threat of maritime harassment. The goal is to transform the Gulf from a flashpoint of military posturing into a neutral, commercially focused waterway, where no single actor can threaten the flow of global commerce. By pushing military infrastructure back from the world's most vital energy artery, the risk of accidental escalation is virtually eliminated.
3. Global militia dissolution. Ending support for non-state armed groups. This resolution demands that Iran immediately and permanently cut all financial and military support to militias in the Middle East and across the world. By severing the funding, training, and logistical ties between Iran and the proxy and non-state actors networks that fuel regional conflicts will be forced to cease, and this applies to other countries as well. Furthermore, the United Nations resolution calls on all other countries to dismantle all militias currently operating on their land. Those nations that do not comply fully with this directive will risk facing rigorous international sanctions. This creates a global standard for sovereignty and state-level military control, ensuring that irregular forces are no longer used as tools of destabilization. The mandate aims to restore the monopoly on force to legitimate national governments under international oversight. 4. Economic reform and humanitarian priority. Directing oil revenues toward Iranian public welfare. This mandate transforms the Iranian economy by ensuring that all oil revenues are diverted away from the military-industrial complex and toward the Iranian people. For decades, resources have been split between defense and social needs. This plan enforces a total pivot toward infrastructure, healthcare, and education. This restriction on military spending serves a dual purpose. It prevents the refunding of clandestine programs and directly addresses the economic grievances of the Iranian citizenry. By prioritizing civilian benefit, the agreement seeks to build domestic support for the peace process. While these oil revenue use restrictions can be adjusted after a 5-year period, the initial phase serves as a mandatory rehabilitation of the national budget to focus strictly on raising the standard of living. 4. constitutional and ideological transformation, repealing the doctrine of exporting the revolution. A fundamental shift in Iran's governance is required to ensure long-term peace, specifically through a change to the Iranian constitution. This includes the total deletion of the export of the revolution doctrine, which has long been viewed by neighbors as a mandate for regional instability. By amending its founding document, Iran would formally signal its transition from a revolutionary state to a Westphalian nation-state that respects the sovereignty of others. Parallel to this, the proposal calls for the restriction of fundamentalist religious schools and hazwas within Iran. This cultural and legal pivot is designed to foster a more secular, or at least less expansionist political identity that can coexist peacefully within the modern international community, focusing on internal development rather than external ideological influence.
6. Human rights and right of return. Amnesty and unrestricted return for all Iranians. This point addresses the Iranian diaspora and the internal political climate by demanding that the state drop all allegations against Iranians both inside and outside the country. It creates a truth and reconciliation environment where citizens are no longer pursued for political dissent or past associations. Crucially, it guarantees the unrestricted right of return for those in exile, allowing them to return to their homeland without any limitations, restrictions, or fear of detention. By removing the threat of the security apparatus against its own people, the agreement fosters a sense of national unity and allows the country to benefit from the skills and perspectives of its global population. It is a vital step toward healing the deep rift between the state and its people. 7. Verification and international oversight. Absolute access for American and international committees. To address the historical lack of trust, this plan institutes an unprecedented intrusive verification regime through the establishment of American and international committees. These bodies are granted full authority to enter any place in Iran, including military and civilian sites, at any time without prior notice. This anywhere, anytime access eliminates the possibility of secret facilities or hidden research. To maintain absolute transparency, these committees will submit monthly and quarterly reports on Iran's compliance with the signed agreements. This level of oversight moves beyond previous treaties by removing Iranian veto power over inspections. The presence of international monitors acts as a permanent safeguard, ensuring that any deviation from the agreement results in immediate global awareness and subsequent consequences. In conclusion, this resolution transforms Iran from a destabilizing regime into a verified architecture of stability. By dismantling nuclear enrichment, ballistic capabilities, and maritime militarization, the framework removes the physical means of escalation. The mandate to dissolve global militias and enforce international sanctions restores national sovereignty and ends gray zone conflicts. Beyond military shifts, constitutional reform and the redirection of oil revenues toward public welfare ensure this peace is structural, not superficial. Supported by an intrusive verification regime and a guaranteed right of return for the diaspora, this vision replaces historical mistrust with the rule of law.